Welcome, everybody. I'm Ogden City Mayor Ben Nadolski, and this is the Ogden Way Podcast, the place where we tell the stories of Ogden by telling the stories of Ogden's people. And today, we have got a legend. Carla Taylor, CT, Coach Carla Taylor, Weber State alumni, Weber State legend, Weber State Hall of Famer.
Oh, well,
right?
Yeah, that sounds like a lot. Just fortunate to have been an alumni that played there, and fortunate to have gotten to coach so many years at my alma mater.
That's right. You've got a deep love for Weber State, obviously.
I do. I bleed purple.
That's right. As do I.
Absolutely.
Not quite as many years as you did
Yeah.
in uniform and on the court there, but recently inducted in the Weber State Athletic Hall of Fame, winningest coach in women's basketball history, Weber State, and also former coach for Jaynee, my wife. Right?
Yeah.
How'd that go?
Oh, you know what? It was fun coaching Jaynee. She, her freshman year, she came in as a volleyball and a basketball player, and after her freshman year, had to choose, like, which one do you want to do? And she chose basketball. And, you know, little does everybody know, she's probably better at volleyball. She was really good at volleyball. And why she chose basketball, I don't know. I'm glad. And I had her for 4 years while you were playing football.
That's right. Yep.
And, yeah, she aggressive. Oh, my. She's the kind of player that you want to rebound. Like, you just tell her, Jaynee, just go after the ball. And that's exactly what she did.
Right. Some people would say, you said aggressive?
Yeah.
Some people might even say dirty.
Yeah, that's BS. No, she wasn't dirty.
It's
she
true.
just was aggressive. And
She was a tough, hard-nosed player.
absolutely.
Right?
Yep. She'd knock you down to go after the ball. There's nothing wrong with that.
That's why they give you 5 fouls.
Exactly.
Right?
5 times to knock somebody down. Jaynee would do that.
That's right.
And the one time in 4 minutes.
That's right. Thank you for confirming that for me.
Yes.
So just in case anybody's not, keeping track, Jaynee fouled out in 4 minutes. And I showed up late for that game, and she had already fouled out.
You didn't even get to see her play.
Right. But she had an outstanding game, I heard.
Yeah.
She was aggressive, got a lot of rebounds,
Yep.
pushed some people around.
That's all. Coaches love that. You'd rather have that and you try to rein them in than to have to prod them to be aggressive. So
That's right.
that's okay. I was all right with that.
Yep. So now everybody knows what I'm dealing with at home.
Yeah.
Right. People that know my wife, they know she's a little bit of a throat puncher. A pistol, you might say, right?
Yeah. Oh, she's a throat puncher.
Yeah. But love her for it.
Yep.
And I actually learned about your style of coaching. Obviously, I watched you coach. You were not a pushover. You had high expectation of your kids, right?
Yeah.
And that's how Jaynee became who she is, in part, right?
Yeah.
But I remember I was coaching, Jaynee and I coached youth basketball for a lot of years. She primarily did. I kind of focused on softball.
You helped, yeah.
Yeah, I focused on softball, and she helped me. She focused on basketball, and I helped her.
Right.
Because I don't have the background like you do, but for a long time, you don't have to have that.
Yeah, when they're young.
Yeah, and our young team for Ogden Untamed, we're so good at defense. We were just smothering people with defense. And I'm like, man, babe, your defense is unbelievable, whether it's a zone or man-to-man. Your transition defense was just on point. And I remember her saying, she goes, well, duh, I played for CT. Played for Carla Taylor, right?
Yeah. There were times when she'd text me or say, hey, can I have some ideas for practices and stuff? And I'm like, you know what to do. You did it for 4 years. But I keep saying to her, fundamentals for the young kids. That's the most important thing for them, to start that way.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate everything you've done for us. But I know that's just one player. You had a whole career of kids and young adults that you coached and mentored. What are the things you look back on now that you're retired and in the Hall of Fame? You're in our community doing art. We'll talk about your art in a little bit, but what are the things that you really remember now?
It's so interesting because at the time when you're coaching them, and I was old school. It's you come every day, you work hard, and you're expected to work hard, and you're not going to get patted on the back for working hard. It's when you go above and beyond and do the extra things, then absolutely you're going to get the pats on the back. So it kind of old school.
Yeah.
But I think you've earned a scholarship, and the school's paying for you to get your education, and you're expected to come and work hard every day. So I expected that on my players. And at the time, I think they didn't realize that down the road you'll appreciate that. And
Yeah.
that's probably what I get more later down the road. They'll say, yeah, you know, I probably haven't told you this, but I really appreciated everything you did for me. And so, but at the time, you know, you're not the most popular. The head coach isn't
Sure.
the most popular because you're the hard one. You're the one that is on them and demanding, and the assistant coaches are kind of the ones that pick up the pieces and make things okay.
Gotcha.
And you probably know what that's like.
Well, and you're also the one that's accountable for everything,
Absolutely.
right?
It's your job, and the
It's a lot
buck
of-
stops here.
A lot of pressure on the head coach, right?
Yep.
And I do remember your old school style, but I didn't at the time. It wasn't really old school. It was just
That's how it was.
school.
Yeah, it was
right?
how it was.
It was how it was.
Yeah,
And I mean, I had the same circumstances on the football team,
right.
and
Who was your coach?
I started under Dave Arslanian.
Oh, I was
and
going to say, was it Arslanian?
yeah,
or-
and then Jerry Graybill.
Okay.
Both good men that helped me develop into the man that I am now.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Both of whom I'm thankful for.
Exactly.
Right?
But at the time,
At the time, it kind of sucked sometimes.
yeah, and you
right?
didn't want them riding you and expecting more and wanting more out of you and pushing you.
But that's how you learn how to enjoy and or at least lean into and endure hard things.
Absolutely.
And it's just, you don't grow unless you're doing hard things, right?
Right.
And so I know Jaynee's very thankful for that now. And you know, I certainly am, because I admire who I married.
Yeah.
For a reason,
Yep.
right?
And now you are doing the same thing with two young girls.
That's correct.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to.
Yeah. They don't always
They're
listen.
not toughening up at the pace you think, but
Well,
that you want.
sometimes it takes somebody other than parents to coach them, right?
Yeah.
That's
for
hard. I think that's really hard for parents because it's your parent, and so the best thing parents can do if they're not coaching is say, "I love to watch you play.
Sure. Oh, yeah.
I love to watch you play." That's all you have to say as a parent, and go to their games, support them. I love to watch you play. It's not your job as a parent to criticize and break the game down and talk about it, mull it over, because the parent's the one that loves you
Right.
unconditionally.
Did you teach that to Jaynee?
No,
To tell your kids you love to watch them play?
I think I did.
Because she
I've-
constantly is pushing that.
I would
at
say
home.
that all the time. I was always saying, man, I wish I could do some kind of a symposium thing for parents, because don't criticize the officials and just tell your kids you love to watch them play. And they'll be better for it.
I always make a point to thank the refs on their way out on their head.
Yeah, because-
Thanks, ref. Good game. You know.
Yeah, because they are like everybody. They're criticized, and they're just doing the best they can.
Not everybody can have, you know, the kind of job like you and I have had, head coach and a politician, where there's no critiques.
Oh, there's no criticism.
No armchair.
No, yeah,
quarterback
no
in there.
armchair quarterbacks that sit up and think they could do it better and wonder why you're doing what you're doing, second guessing, and when you're just doing your best and you want to win the game or you want to do the best for the city. It's the same
Right.
thing. You just want what's best for your situation.
See, you just hit on a theme. We're talking about building people, right?
Yep.
You're helping to develop people into better versions of themselves, whether you're a coach or whether you're a mayor, whether you're a leader or a boss in one other way, or a parent. We're all here trying to build ourselves into the best version of ourselves and build others around us into our best collectively, right?
Right.
And you did that. How many years were you at Weber State?
23. I was 5 as a player and then 23 as the head coach.
Okay.
And I was 26 years old when I got hired as the head coach at Weber State.
Super young.
4 years out of college.
Wild.
Yikes. Yeah. I was, and I told the story at the Hall of Fame banquet that I didn't apply for the job. Weber State asked me to apply, not once, but twice. And the third time I was at the University of Utah, as a graduate or assistant coach at that time, full-time assistant, after I'd been a GA, 2 years at Morgan High School, and then a full-time assistant at the University of Utah. And so I'm psyched. Am I going to learn under Elaine Elliott?
National championship
Oh my
run,
gosh, they're
right?
like, they're like cream of the crop in the state. So I'm there 1 year, and then Weber State comes calling, and I'm like, I'm not ready. I'm young. I need to learn. And thanks, but no thanks. And then the third time they didn't call me, they called her, and she said, well, you might as well go talk to him. It's like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
So
I
but
bet,
yeah,
I bet you're thankful you did that.
I am.
Right?
I am. I've often thought for the first 10 years, I probably need to apologize to all my players because I was learning along the way. You jump in, you just do the best you can, you learn along the way. And I luckily had good players, and we were able to recruit in-state players as well as surrounding out-of-state players. But it was baptism by fire.
I bet.
Because I really, and honestly, the 2 years I spent at Morgan High School were probably the most beneficial because I was a volleyball, basketball, boys and girls track coach. I taught math, which I wasn't. I taught whatever I called bonehead math, but I loved it. I had all the rowdy students, and it was right after lunch, and they wouldn't miss my class. They would come. They were awesome. I taught health, PE, dance, and at one point I was a cheerleader advisor.
Really?
Yes, I didn't tell that part at the banquet because I didn't
Left that little
want those
nugget up?
players to hear that. The past players that came.
Well,
Yeah.
for clarity, it's not boneheaded math; it's remedial. And then by the time
Okay.
I got into boneheaded math,
Yeah.
they called it practical.
I
Math.
couldn't remember what it was called, but honestly, it was one of my favorite classes.
Yeah.
Because those kids that would stay out in the parking lot or whatever, they would come in for the class, and we taught how to use a register on a checkbook or how to write a check and stuff, and they were awesome.
Perfect.
I know. I'm glad I didn't have to have, what was it, Math 100 in college. What'd you guys have? Math?
Yeah.
Was it Math?
100,
101
101,
or whatever. You had
right?
to take it. I didn't have
I did all that in junior college.
Yeah, I didn't have to do that. So thank
I was
goodness.
the practical geometry student of the year.
Wow.
And I remember being so proud. And then that was when I started to brag about it. I was like, look at that. And that was when I learned that I was in the remedial. And I was like, oh, I didn't realize this the whole time. But I was struggling.
Oh.
And there was a place for me, thankfully. And then, anyway, I made it through and got to junior college, and we did all the math then. But
What junior college did you go to?
Phoenix College.
Oh, it's two. I didn't know you were only here for 2 years.
I had to do a red shirt because I blew my shoulders out.
Oh.
But, so 3 years,
So
2
3
seasons
years.
to play.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I remember I was thinking about this during your speech at the Hall of Fame when you were talking about your journey to Weber State.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just thinking about how far women's athletics have come, right?
Yeah.
But can you tell us a little bit about where was Weber State women's basketball at the time compared also to where were women's athletics at the time?
So I was the beneficiary of the Title IX that came out in, I believe it was 1975, because I think it's the 50th year, or it might have been 74, because it was just the 50th year anniversary. But for me, growing up in a small town in Eastern Oregon, we didn't have softball. We didn't have any soccer like they have now, but I was the first girl in the state of Oregon to play Little League Baseball, and I played clear through to Babe Ruth, and because we didn't have softball. And so I played with the boys. But there weren't very many opportunities. You had high school, we had volleyball, basketball, and track in high school, and that's it. And then when I came to college, I wasn't the first class to have scholarship, but it might have been second or third class to have scholarships available. So you could get a scholarship and you could have your education paid for, which is why you went to college at that time versus kind of what it is now. But it just was starting that women had the opportunity to earn a scholarship and go to college and get your education paid for. To now, what it is, I mean, I would hate for you to see.
Unrecognizable.
I would hate for you to see, and I have some game film. It's in a 8-track, or not 8-track.
VHS?
A VHS. I need to get it converted, but it was nothing like what they play now. The level. I mean, just the athleticism, and they're just amazing. And then then they go on to the WNBA, and women's basketball has just blossomed.
It's the same way in football too. Like I go watch the Weber State teams now, and I'm like, I wouldn't have made the team.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But I think it's also just a function of the development of the game,
Right.
the development of how they develop the players,
Right. And the opportunity.
how much earlier we play, right?
Well, how about the opportunities? We didn't have those opportunities. I mean, they're just skill development, athletic ability development. I mean, it is so, and they have parents that have played that help them and provide those opportunities.
Yeah. You called yourself a beneficiary of Title IX, which actually we all are now.
Yeah.
But Jaynee talks in the same terms. She says, I stood on the shoulders of giants before me.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
It's true.
And so, like, her mom played softball at BYU, and Jaynee in her high school, they only had slow pitch softball for them. Right? They didn't have it at all for you.
Yeah, well, hey,
So
but I'm a little older than Jaynee.
a little bit.
Quite a bit, but.
But it just shows, I'm just saying that because it shows the trajectory of women's sports at the time.
Oh, absolutely.
It's just come so far. And now, the game now, when you compare it to the men's game, I enjoy a lot more about, they play more fundamental defense.
Right.
They're more disciplined in their transition and so on.
Well, they're not playing above the rim, so they have to run some type of an offense to create a shot for somebody, where as the men, it's just can give it to your best player and they break you down one-on-one. Can they create a shot for themselves? Right. And the women can't quite do that, but it's at a whole different level. There's no question.
Just a better team game.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of how the pros used to be. People didn't like to watch the pros because it was so much fun, and then it changed, and then the men's college game kind of became that, and now the women's college game, people really prefer to watch, or not prefer, but they're watching the women's game because of the level that they play and the team involvement in it. The strategy and the team strategy and teamwork and some kind of offensive execution.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a team game instead of an individual game.
Right.
It's kind of the same with softball versus baseball. You watch the women's College World Series in softball versus the men's World Series, and it's a lot faster paced for softball than it is for baseball, right?
Yep.
It's
crazy.
It's growing fast.
It's crazy, yeah.
So, okay, back to yesterday.
Yeah.
Back to where you were. Okay. So your first 10 years, you said you were learning on the job.
Yeah, just kind of
learning. I feel like you got to apologize.
Yeah, no, I had one assistant coach to start with, and she happened to be an Ogden High grad, and Handy Jones, and she had played at Utah, and I played against her, and then when I went to Utah as a graduate assistant coach, I coached her. She was 2 years younger than me because I'd redshirted a year, but she came in as my assistant, my only assistant, so it's just her and I, and she didn't have any experience, so we're kind of learning together, but she was a perfect fit for me. She was a kind of an inside-outside player, and she developed the post players, and she'd played under Fern Gardner for a few years, which Fern Gardner is a legend in the state. She played at Utah State, but then coached for years and years at University of Utah before Elaine. She retired, went into administration, and Elaine started coaching, was the head coach. So Ann had played under some of the best coaches you could ever have. So she brings that into our coaching staff, and then I think at 5 years or 6 years later, we added another coach, but
so you're like really building something.
Oh yeah, it took time, but they, luckily my first year we were really successful because we had a good group of seniors, and they were kind of hungry for a new head coach, and we did really well to start my first year, and so then we could kind of build on that and recruit off that.
Gotcha.
And, it's so interesting. If we could get a player, and you probably don't understand this because you were recruited here, you might understand it, but if we could get the player on campus, we had a chance to get them.
Oh, yeah.
If they were out of state, we had a chance to get them. In-state kids, we really battled. I mean, you had Utah, BYU, and if they wanted them, we weren't going to get them. But for out-of-state players, when they came in and they walked in the D Event Center, or they saw the mountains,
right?
Yeah,
I was
just
shocked
the community.
When I came
know
here for the
it's
first
beautiful,
time.
and
Yes.
it was such a sell if we could get them on campus because of the community, because of the beauty of the mountains.
And remember, I have to remind myself of this, but remember that we're talking about maybe not Ogden's heyday in terms of our
the
economic thriving, right?
Right. But it's still
it was kind of our crime peak, probably.
Yeah. Well, when I came to play, it was 1979 was my freshman year. 79-80 was my freshman year, And this little kid from Eastern Oregon drove down 25th Street in my little brown Capri and was scared to death.
Yeah.
We just didn't come down. And now it's just, it's a whole different.
It's a whole different
ball game.
It's completely different.
What it's grown to and how.
Which there's a lot of people don't remember those days.
Yeah.
Those are the days. That was actually what attracted me here. I was like, this place is unbelievable. And not knowing where we'd be headed in the future.
Right.
But we sometimes lose sight of where we've come from.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Well, and then did you think you would stay here?
No, my parents kept telling me I would.
See, I kept
and
saying,
I was like, no, I'll be back.
Oh yeah, I kept saying, I am a true Oregonian. I will move back to Oregon. I'm sure I'll go back to Oregon. And I mean, how many years later, I still live
in Ogden
in the house that I bought when I became the head coach at Weber State. And I love it here. And people
Ogden and Weber State have that effect on people.
Absolutely.
Doesn't it?
Absolutely.
People stay longer than they anticipate.
Well, just the whole East Bench feels that I have so many friends that feel like family. Mm. And I've had people say when I go back to Oregon, which I go back because my family's still there, my brother and sister and their families, but they'll say, would you ever move back? And I said, I try to hesitate for a second. No.
Well,
but yeah, no, this feels like home to me. Ogden is home to me. And it's a great place to live. It's a great place to, I can go out my back door and hit the trails on a mountain bike. You're 20 minutes to ski resorts. There's just you can hike, or you can ride downtown. Now you can take the bus. How about that? You can take the bus downtown.
Take the BRT.
Exactly.
Still free fare. So
yeah, so it's amazing the evolution of the city of Ogden, and I'm sure there's a lot of old timers that have seen it too, but I really have seen 45 years.
Yeah. And it didn't happen by accident. It's been made to happen by a lot of people.
Right. A lot of people that made the downtown what it is, and whether it's our police force that make it safe,
right.
Or everybody's been involved in helping it become what it is today, and
including you.
Well, I don't know that
you're a Hall of Famer in our city.
Well, thanks to Weber State, but it's
but Weber State's part of Ogden.
Yeah, so. And been a part of it, in fact, there were a few years, I can't remember what year it was, but we were trying to get more fans in the stands. And so we asked a group of community leaders, the Kim Bouchards, the Heidi Harwards, the business people to help us develop a marketing group to get butts in the seats. We would meet down there and then try to think of ideas, but we also had our players coming down and being involved, whether it was in the Ogden Marathon. One year they helped with the clothes pickup when they came down. And so as much as we wanted people to come support us, we really involved our players in as many community activities as we could get them exposed to.
But you were also pairing community leaders with players in terms of mentoring at the time, right?
Yeah.
And so I remember that too.
And then we started the elementary field trip game. Rochelle developed that. We went to a Final Four, and some gal talked about it, and Rochelle's
your assistant coach.
Rochelle Gardner Sayers.
Yep.
She developed the elementary field trip games. She said, let's do this. And so we contacted the different elementary schools, and they said, yeah, we'd love to do it. We don't have the funding. So Rochelle ends up writing a grant to get the money for buses so that those kids could come to the game. And it was like we had.
Oh yeah, you told the story in your speech.
Yeah, 4,500 screaming elementary kids, and those community leaders. Carolyn Brierly was another one of them.
She worked for the city.
Yeah, she worked for the city at the time, and they helped organize who was going to sit where when the buses came in, because we couldn't do it. We're down on the court coaching. But yeah, it was a neat experience for our players to get involved and understand if you want people to come watch your games, then you have to give to the community.
That's right. That tradition still continues. In fact, when our daughters were at Wasatch Elementary, we did it then. And I volunteered to be a
chaperone.
Chaperone, thank you.
Yeah.
I have never been more exhausted in my life
Yeah.
than when I was done that night.
Oh,
Exhausted.
yes. I know.
Kids were crawling all over
I know.
the D events.
And they
It's
love
wild.
it. And they just get to scream and
Oh, yeah.
stand up and go crazy.
Super loud.
Which they don't get to do at school.
Yeah, the players signed autographs for him. It was
Yep.
fun.
Yeah.
Tons of fun.
So that was kind of a cool community connection that
Yeah.
we were trying to develop with.
So
the
see, so
Delta.
you're building a team. You're also building a sport.
Right.
You're building a program. You're building people, young women,
Mm-hmm.
and then you're building community.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And I think that's the difference between Ogden and Weber State and everybody else. I think.
Yeah.
Is this accessibility for us to be able to participate
Right.
in the building, in the lifting of our city.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. No,
It's-
you're right.
Yeah.
If you get a bigger city like Salt Lake, it's so big.
It's too big. It's so big.
Yeah. It's so big. Yeah.
Yeah. And
And not that Salt Lake doesn't do some great things, but it's kind of the difference in a mid-major like Weber State and the experience you get with the professors
yeah.
that you get to know. They know your name. We had small class size.
Yep.
It's just such a unique opportunity to get, a top-notch education right here.
It is. It's actually an interesting size and scale.
Mm-hmm.
And we talk about this here in our administration, is we're a small city in the big picture.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're not a Chicago or an LA.
Right.
Thankfully,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Watch the news.
I
glad
don't
it's
want to
not.
live there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
glad we're
I
Ogden.
like to live here.
Yeah. But we're also not a small city here in northern Utah. We're the big city of northern Utah.
Mhm.
And so we're sort of a small, like a big city with a small town feel,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yep.
So we're kind of resourced enough that we can do major things,
Mm-hmm.
but we're not so big that we are wrapped up in an enormous bureaucracy,
Right.
right?
Right.
So just our police department, we have 150, 160 now sworn officers.
Well, and
But
at a
that sounds like a
time-
lot. That's
but-
not a lot compared
right,
to big
right,
departments.
but at a time we didn't have that, and it was battling to keep those police officers so they didn't leave
right?
and go for more pay, and so many things were done to develop that, and
Yep.
and the police chiefs that came in,
Yep.
and it was important, and we were able to keep them and get more, and
Correct.
it-
To where today,
yeah,
now we have a waiting list to work at OPD,
really,
which I don't know if there's any departments that have that
yeah,
around here. But we're full in police and fire, and we have a waiting list in police. But the point is, we're resourced enough to do great things,
Mhm.
and we get to think and have big dreams.
right,
But we're small enough that we know each other. We know each other by name. I know
right,
most of my officers by name, right?
really.
Yeah. Officers and
I don't,
firefighters, I know.
and I don't want to know them by name because that means they pulled me over.
Fair enough.
No, there are some that, yeah. I mean, back in the day, was it? I can't remember. There were a couple track guys that were police officers way back in the day.
Way back in the day?
I can't remember their names. I'm terrible with names, but yeah, no, our city is safe because of things that have evolved and have been done, which
Right.
you benefit that to the administration, and it's important.
It is, but Weber State, it's the same setup. It's the mid-major,
Mm-hmm.
and some people are like, oh, it's just a mid-major, or just Weber. That's a whole other thing. But the mid-major means you have that small school feel, but you have big school dreams and opportunities and
Yeah,
access. You're
right.
playing big schools,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
We went and played big programs in
Oh,
front
yeah.
of big crowds,
Yeah.
and those were big opportunities.
Right.
And we
Right.
competed,
Yeah. 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 And I think the difference was, you could compete, say, in football or women's basketball or men's basketball. The first half, you keep it close.
Oh yeah, always
But then the second half, it's like they had so much more depth.
way more depth.
And their bench was equal to your starters, because you had such a small pool of
And-
the really, really good ones, right?
And they had
And they
scholarships.
had
they had
exactly.
everything.
So it was always the second half was kind of the difference, but you could hang with them for
Same with us. The big fat guys in the front would really lean on us in the second half. And we're like, I'm tired of holding this fat guy up.
exactly.
Right? He's fatter than I am, and
Yeah.
he's heavy.
Yeah,
So-
and then they bring another one in, or they bring
Yep.
a third one in,
And they just wear you down.
Yep, and that's kind of same way with women's basketball.
So you get to a point where you're your tenure's in, you're apologizing for learning, but I can't imagine the pool is super deep around here for women's basketball coaches. I'm sure there were coaches around.
Yeah.
It was a thing.
Yeah.
It was an industry, but it wasn't like it is today.
No.
Where the sport's so developed.
Right.
And so I have to imagine you weren't the only one figuring it out along the way.
Yeah, I think.
Right?
Yeah, there were a lot of women that were given opportunities that, you'd say, well, are we going to give this woman an opportunity, or are we going to hire a man who had experience coaching? So I think you started to see women being hired to coach women's sports, which it should be that way. But you have to give them a chance. That's the only way you get the experience. And I think Weber State did that for me. They allowed me the chance to learn and develop so that we had a woman coaching women's basketball, which I love that. And
that's huge.
I know.
That's pioneering stuff.
I know, and it's still, of all the coaches, Weber State still has hired women to coach women's basketball.
Talk about the difference for us. Like, there's obvious differences, but what are the differences from a player standpoint, like in the locker room and in the program?
I just think women understand what women are going through versus men. But I also think because during high school years, a lot of those high school girls were coached by men. And so it's this, I had a women's coach that I played for, but when I was in high school, I had men, high school coaches. And so I'm a firm believer that women should be coached by women. Men are coached by men.
Sure.
And then sometimes a woman will be on a men's staff, but you also, I think it's hard for women as they progress in their lives, when they decide that they want to move on and have a family, then they make the choice to get out of coaching, and men don't have to make that choice.
Right.
That's just a natural. They don't have to have a baby and stay home. They could stay home and help, but they're not having the baby.
Right.
It's just,
well, Rochelle had a baby.
Yeah.
While she was your assistant, right?
Yep. Well, so did Ann. They all did, and eventually, it was funny. Ann's youngest child, her oldest, when she was coaching at first, she said the national anthem would come on, and Mackenzie would go, "Hey, Mom, there's the Weber State song," because she grew up in the gym from the time she was little clear through till she was 5 or 6. So she thought the national anthem was the Weber State song.
That's
quite
a compliment,
their
actually.
kids grow up, which is not a bad thing. But then once they want to have another one, Ann was pregnant with another one, and she just said, "I just can't do it." So she moves on, and then eventually, after she raised her kids, she went and coached high school, which is awesome. But I think sometimes women have to make the choice: am I going to have a family, or do I want to stay in coaching? And you kind of make that decision.
Right. See, these are the things that I think today we take for granted.
Mm-hmm.
And when Jaynee says, "I stand on the shoulders of giants that come before me," these are the things that the giants before her did.
Yeah.
Right.
And there were people before me, the Tennessee coach, Pat Summitt, all those people that I got to rub elbows with when we would go to the WBCA conventions all over the country, and the Tara Vanderveers, and I coached against Tara. Our first year we went to the NCAA tournament. We played at Stanford.
Vanderveer's she's like a super winning coach at Stanford.
Yes,
was where she really
Stanford.
had her.
Yes,
right.
But at Stanford she became the winningest head coach, and then she retired. And I think Gino at Connecticut has passed her now. But we played at Stanford, and this is back to the mid-major versus the major. So we're up like 18-6. And she has to call the first time out. I was just like, yes. That was like a moral victory.
Oh, yeah.
Because she had to call the first time out because we were, and then what
the momentum.
She put a bigger, taller player against Crystal Howell, a local Roy High player who was
all Big Sky Conference.
Yeah,
also in the
Hall of
Fame. Yep.
And Crystal couldn't shoot, but she was like, this kid was 6'7" or something, and Crystal never played against somebody that big, and she just tried to make the same moves and couldn't.
It
didn't work, and they caught back up. But I was like, I'll never forget. I turned to my assistants going, yes. She had to call the first time out.
That was the win.
Yeah, it was. So, but yeah, it's I don't know where I kind of got off on tangent there, but women, people will say to me, well, do you have kids? And I'll say, I raised kids for 23 years as the head coach, and you get them at probably the most important time in their life, from 18 to 22.
Yeah,
when
really
the parents entrust you with their daughters and say, okay, I'm giving you to her, and now the things that you teach her are very important.
Very.
And you basically become an extension of the parent.
Yeah.
As a coach.
I remember just as a student athlete, and I watching Jaynee go through it, she was just exhausted all the time.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, how could you get into trouble when you're that tired?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You guys you were pushing them doing ladders at like 6 a.m. all the time.
We had practice. Well,
early practice.
In the D Event Center, they didn't have volleyball in Swenson, so you had to try to fit in 3 practice times with volleyball, women's basketball, men's basketball. And I got so frustrated with the juggling the schedule. And I had a lot of players that were pre-med or nursing, medical, and they always had labs in the afternoon. So I finally said, you know what? We're going to practice at 6 a.m. and nobody's going to mess with our practice. Which, thinking back now.
Players love that, right?
That's hard on college kids. But they got up. They knew they had to get up, so they got up, came to practice, they were done, they showered, and then they had the whole day to go to school and study.
I'm sure that's all they did.
Oh, yeah. No, they went home and took a nap and probably missed class because they were tired.
Maybe.
Yeah,
but
maybe a little.
Actually, you coached a ton of high performer academics.
We had some really...
Right. Jaynee was always all conference academic.
Yep.
And she wasn't alone on the team at all.
No,
you guys
they were smart. They really... Our players came for their education. They were students first, athletes second, because there was nothing beyond. It wasn't like there was a WNBA.
Right.
Where football and men's basketball, they're all going to either go pro.
All? No.
Well, but they think that. So,
correct.
So if you're pretty good, is your education the most important thing?
I wish I could relate.
Yeah, but you
I knew I wasn't going to the NFL.
Yeah, you knew the same with me. I knew that it was my ticket to get my education if I wanted to coach. So my education was important. And I think the women's athletes were that way because there wasn't anything after.
True.
So you're there to get whatever it is you're striving for.
It's actually, that's the purest form of the game, actually.
Yep.
And that is what in my view, this is not reflect my wife's opinions. This is purely mine and mine alone. But it does feel like we're losing the purity of the game and the sense of purpose behind it. The
With college, I know
the mission of the student athlete.
Yeah, and now it's all becoming money. And for me, my parents weren't wealthy, and if I hadn't earned that basketball scholarship, I wouldn't have gone to college, because they couldn't have paid for it, and not every parent can pay for college. So it was a way to have your college paid for. And you were serious about it because you knew once you were done, whatever it is you want to be, whether you want to be a doctor, whether you want to be a policeman, whatever, that was your ticket to your career.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a journey, just talking about the time that's passed. Has not been that long, actually.
Oh, it feels like it.
I know you talk.
Yeah.
But you had your knees replaced, didn't you? And
I've had both knees replaced.
But you've been instructing mountain biking, and you're an active recreationist.
I was fortunate when I was done coaching to work with the Goal Foundation and implementing their youth programs. So we had a mountain bike camp, pickleball camp in the summer, and then climbing camps. And then we implemented the young runners in the elementary schools. And
remember that too.
And it was fun, and kind of feels like, my calling was to coach, to help kids.
Yeah.
And I still have a young man. He's a special needs guy, and we started when he was 14 years old. His grandmother asked me if I would be interested in teaching him mountain biking, and I did. And we've been doing it for 8 years. He's now 22 years, and we mountain bike twice a week, year round.
Do you really?
Yep, we never miss.
Yeah.
So we'll get back on it in the winter, but again, there's so many things to do out your back door.
I know,
here
right?
in Ogden. I mean,
This is the best town ever.
oh, absolutely.
So when you're not recreating outdoors, you're not coaching kids, you're not downtown seeing a show or at the restaurants, because I see you around town all over the place. You also do art, metal art.
Yes, I weld recycled metal art that's all hand-picked from, I go out to Bloom's, I put my hard hat on, I take my bucket and my gloves and pick through the metal and stay back and safe from what they're doing and respectful to what's going on at Bloom's. And it's amazing what Bloom's does. I mean, and the stuff that they take to recycle, whether it's refrigerators, everything. And we just have another little niche in our community that's pretty amazing. But yeah, so I go pick the metal and figure out how to make it into something cool and weld it together in my studio.
In your garage.
AKA my garage.
AKA your garage, yeah.
Yeah. So, and I love doing it. It's really fun.
I got to hand it to you. It's cool stuff. Like just the ingenuity that you have. Do you see parts in the piles and you're like, I know what I'll use that for? Or do you just say that's an intriguing piece, I'll find a use for it?
Found that, you kind of use a lot of different things. But I've gotten better about being picky because my garage slowly the walls were coming in with all the stuff. So, and I've got it all organized but yeah, it's more interesting, different type pieces, whether it's gears. I just made a piece for this couple that live up on Wheelock, and they zero-scape their lawn or their yard, and I made this huge gear dome for them. I mean, it took 3 of us to move it off my welding table. It was so heavy.
I bet.
Yeah, but different people will call in to have ideas of something they want, and can you make this? I'm like, well, I can try.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, what's the worst thing?
I called you and said, can you make a peacock for my wife?
Exactly. And I said, I'll figure it out.
Right?
Yeah. So it's I don't think I have the artsy side of whichever side of the brain it is, but it's the challenge part that you figure it out.
It's a creative process.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, you're really good at it.
Well, I've gotten better. I feel bad for the people that got my first couple of years, because my welding wasn't great, and I've gotten better. And obviously, practice makes better, and I enjoy it. It gives me something I can go out and putz in the garage for hours, or if I don't want to do it, I don't.
Yeah, you don't have to.
Yeah.
You're retired.
Yeah, I'm retired.
Kind of.
It's a hobby. It's
a hobby that pays the bills.
Yeah, well, it doesn't pay the bills, but it
some of them
helps.
Maybe
It kind of helped me get to in between time where you got to figure out what you're going to do till you can collect Social Security and your retirement,
right?
Because you got to kind of wait to those
67 and a half or whatever you decide,
years.
whichever you decide.
Yeah.
What do you call your art studio?
Recycled metal art. Or what do I call it?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like how do we find it?
Oh,
I know how to find you. I just call you. But
yeah, people can. I have a Facebook and Instagram page, Recycled Metal Art Shop, on Instagram and Facebook, or pretty much if you know anybody that knows me knows how to get my phone number.
I know, right?
They just call me, text me, and
that's how it works.
I know it's word of mouth, and I did start out by doing one farmer's market, because that's all I could do, and it took me months to prepare for it. And then it's heavy, everything's heavy, so I'll haul it down, and it's sold out, so I could only do one. Then I would do Harvest Moon, which was awesome, and then I would do the Nature Center Christmas sale. So I kind of spread it out and kind of got your name out there that you're doing it, and so I get a lot of orders from people. And
so people lose sight of the fact that the farmers market and Harvest Moon and these different festivals are actually like the most original incubator for small business.
Right. And it's how it started with my recycled metal art.
Yeah.
That's how I started. Well, and I sold a lot of it. And some of it when I first started wasn't great.
Well, if you go around town, once you've seen your art, you can recognize it.
Yeah.
And I do see it around town. In fact, I knock on doors and I'd be like, that's a CT piece.
You can see it in their yard.
Yeah, you see it on their yard or
Yeah.
sitting on the doorstep
Yeah.
or up on the door, you know.
And I do have it for sale out at Roosters, the B Street.
Oh, do you?
They're Roosters B Street. I have a little shelf that they let me put stuff out there. I just took a black cat out there. I need to take some Halloween stuff, but I'm here instead of welding on a Friday afternoon. But of course, I wouldn't miss the opportunity to visit with the mayor.
Right, because when we called you, you zero hesitation. You leapt at the
Because
opportunity.
there's so many more interesting people than me that you could have this conversation with. Why would you want me? And Cindy was on me. Then Jaynee came into play, and poor Ray Lynn. I thought I could get away with saying no.
She's super nice, but
she is
she's a
super
dog.
nice. But then
Yeah.
she went to the big dog.
Do you see how much pressure I'm surrounded by?
I know. Wow.
This is hard stuff.
I couldn't say no. By the end, I'm like, well, I'll do anything. What do you want me to do?
Well, you couldn't say no because, you shouldn't say no because this is the kind of stories that all of our young girls need to hear. My daughters need to understand how far things have come.
Yeah.
They have all the opportunities they have today because of people like you,
Well,
right? And their
yes.
Mom.
Yes, and
Right.
their mom, and a lot of moms around here that have been involved in sports and athletics. We didn't have those opportunities.
I know you guys fought for them. You built it from scratch, and you had to innovate the whole way. You had to make do at times. You just had to find ways.
Yep.
And we all owe you a debt of gratitude for that.
Well,
Especially me as a father of two daughters that are
I
playing
know I
a lot of sports.
love girl dads. I think they're the best, especially girl dads that have been college athletes, or because they are so in about their daughters having the opportunities that their friends' sons would have, right?
Right. Oh yeah.
You want the same thing, and it
100%.
wasn't that way always.
Mm.
So whenever you see past athletes or that are girl dads, I love it.
It's kind of funny because Jaynee and I feel like we've been around a lot of sports parents in our lives, and you would think that the past collegiate athletes would be the most hardest driving. You have to early age, specialize year round, yada yada. And it's actually the opposite.
Yeah.
We're much more multi-sport oriented.
Right.
We take breaks through the season for different seasons of sport.
That's because we all did that.
Right.
And,
I know.
And it's the ones that haven't experienced or been the 3-sport athletes and that develops you so much more well-rounded as an athlete than specializing, and then you have the burnout. But if you have parents that weren't athletes, or they wanted to be, but maybe they weren't, but now they want their kids to be, they seem to specialize in.
They'll do anything to give them that opportunity.
And it's like, you can let them be kids.
You actually set them back.
Yeah, let them be kids. Let them experience the different sports and develop the skills in all those sports.
That's why we've developed our Ogden Untamed Sports Academy and
Right.
the Untamed Sports program, is so that we could be in this niche that is kind of off forgotten.
Right.
There's a good recreation offering out there through cities and recreation departments around the state and the country. And then there's this travel and accelerated, hyper specialized track, and it's like once you get into that comp travel accelerated track, that everybody's trying to get to the top, and you miss the middle, and the middle is the development. The middle is the multi-sport. We need to make sure that we have opportunities for kids to play at a higher level of competition, but not in a specialized early age, and allow them to experience all the sports so they can decide later in life which one they fall in love with. Right.
And let them pick. Let them pick what they love.
Right.
Like, if your girls don't pick basketball, that's okay. Maybe they pick volleyball, or maybe they pick track. And same thing for boys. Let them pick what they love to do, but expose them to the different sports. And then they can pick, because if you don't love it, you're not going to excel in it. You're going to burn out. You're going to, it's
correct.
Drudgery, right?
It's the same concept of when you're going to decide what your vocation is going to be in the future.
Yep.
The old model is, what am I passionate about?
Yeah.
Well, what are you also good at?
Mm-hmm.
Right? And that helps to breed success, which helps to breed passion.
Right.
And that's it's aptitude based instead of passion based.
Right.
But you need to think about both.
Yeah.
And anyway, I really appreciate that you came. I know how much you didn't want to shower and come in.
It wasn't that I didn't want it. I didn't want to have to get dressed up. I didn't want to get gussied up and have to do my hair. And, I could, because when I go out to the studio, aka my garage, I just put a welding helmet on so I don't have to.
Right.
Yeah, my clothes get burnt. I get burns in them and stuff.
But it's Friday night.
I know. But
it's Friday night. Well, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me. And I love what you're doing, and the city's in good hands. And
appreciate that.
And there's so many good things going on that that people need to recognize. And we've talked about this. I'm sad at the criticism that goes on, that instead of seeing the good, because there's so much good in our city,
There is.
Yep.
And it's the way it is in the world, whether you're coaching or in my position. It's easy to be a critic. It's hard to be a leader.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate all of the heart and the hard work that you put into being a leader, CT. I know that you were hard on Jaynee and all the other teammates all those years, but that is a blessing, right?
It makes you a better person and makes you prepared for the things that come to you in your life.
Right. And it's not like you were abusive you held them to a high standard.
Right.
You had high expectations, and you forced them to think the same way.
Yep.
And now today, there's women all over the country that played under you who are absolute smashing successes in life, however they've chosen. Well, and that's a testament to you and
you're
what you've done.
An example of that too, from coming from a football program and pursuing something that you wanted to do. After your fishing game.
Yeah.
And I know you were passionate about
it. It was awesome. It was a blast.
You loved it, and what a fun job, but still a lot of work. And I just have great respect for anybody that wants to be in politics, because I don't want to be in politics, but I think people that are civic-minded do, and they're doing it to better our city, and those are the type of people that we need in our government.
I agree, and there's actually more people like that than people think.
Mm-hmm.
I get to rub shoulders with a lot of politicians, and they're not all what you think.
Yeah.
There's a ton of people that just love where they live, and they just want to help their town and their city.
Right.
And that's as much as fun as I had doing a fishing game. This is way more fulfilling.
Oh, good.
Not nearly as fun.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
No, yeah.
But it's harder, it's more challenging, it's more purposeful.
You get to see the benefits of all the hard work that you and all the people that are working with you can accomplish.
But that's what we do in Ogden. That's what we do at Weber State. That's
exactly
what makes us great, right?
Yeah.
Great.
Yes.
So, CT, thanks for taking some time to come in.
Thank you for
really appreciate it. And thanks for being such a positive presence in Ogden. Thanks for building our city by building our people.
Well, thank you. I'm fortunate to live here, and I'm fortunate to be surrounded by so many great people that have also impacted my life. So it's not just what I've done, it's what other people have done for me as well.
That's right. See, the selfless servant. Let's do a call to action.
All right.
So every episode we end up with a call to action, and I'll say two things. First, if you see things, it's easy to see the negative. It's easy to grind on things and to be critical, and it's easy to wrap our minds around that. And when you do that, we become a reflection of it, right? And the same can be said if you see positive things. There's more positive things around you than there are negative.
Yep.
But you have to see it, and you can't see it unless you remind yourself to see it, to feel it. And if you do that, you can be it. It is all about mindset. Right?
Absolutely.
So make sure when you're out there that you're not just looking for the things to be critical of. What are the things that we're blessed to be around? And what can we do to help lift the challenges that are around us? We're not ignorant of those.
Nope.
They're there.
Right.
So be a builder, be a lifter. Don't be a breaker.
Yeah.
Right? But also, look up Recycled Metal Art.
Yeah, there you go.
By Carla Taylor on Instagram and Facebook, you said?
Instagram, Facebook, yep.
You won't be disappointed. She's super talented. She's very modest about her talents and her abilities. But I promise you, if you look at the work that she does and the art that she does, you'll find something that you love. And you would be able to support a local artist.
Starving artists.
Starving artists. There you go. That's today's episode. Carla Taylor, CT, Coach CT. Thanks again for everything you are and everything you've been. I am Ogden City Mayor Ben Nadolski, and this is the Ogden Way. Until next time, get out there, do great things, and be a positive influence.